3, 2.
1. Live from New York. No.
It's Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, I'm bobbing. So yeah, we see we're a little bit behind.
That's
But
good. We're good.
no, we're okay. Yeah,
So how you doing, Mark?
doing pretty well. Yeah, I can't believe it's the end of November already.
November 29th.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was talking with a student about how time changes as you age,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does
right?
speed up significantly.
Speeds up. Yeah, just the years keep going by. And then, I don't know, by the time I'm my parents' age, or, wow, it's going to be full speed ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when you were a child, it
Yeah,
was quite slow.
it feels forever.
Mm.
And I was on Reddit, I read about this, and they said it's because it's the portion of your life. So when you're 10, 1 year is a tenth of your life. So it feels like a really long time. But when you're 50, right, 1 year is only 1/50th of your life.
Right.
So in perspective, you're the 1 year seems very, very fast.
Gone.
It's all, we say, relative. All relative.
And then you
Yeah.
live in Singapore, where there's no seasons.
No seasons,
and
so-
it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, you're just
Bef-
every day is the same.
Before you know it, 10 years.
Every day is the same.
Every day is the same.
All right, so I think today Mark
Yeah.
wrote a blog on
Yeah,
our
on-
website.
Yeah, on our website, I wrote about 2 words that I think sometimes can be a little bit confusing when to use them. It can be confusing when to use them or if you should use them, right? And also in other languages, it's a bit confusing. I was talking with our front desk support staff, Celine, and she said translating if from Korean to English or English to Korean can sometimes be confusing, right? And same when I learned Japanese, knowing how to say if or when confuses me in different languages. So if it confuses you, hopefully this will help.
Or when it confuses.
Yeah, when it confuses you, if it confuses you. So let's go and break it down.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, here's Matt, he's going to disappear.
Bye.
And we will go through the first part here, the if versus when. Start with if. Okay, for if, we use if in a possible or unreal situation. Okay, so for our examples right here, I'll start with possible. Things that are possible, they might happen. If my friend visits Singapore, I might take him or I will take him to Gardens by the Bay. Right? If my friend visits Singapore, he might visit, he might not visit. I don't know. If he visits, I'll take him to Gardens by the Bay. Right? Or I say, oh, if I have time tonight, I'll do my homework. I'm very busy though. I don't know. I might have time. I might not have time. Right?
Yeah.
There's our if, our possibility, something that might happen, but we don't know.
I always
Right?
explain if as
Or, yeah,
like 50-50.
like 50-50, right?
Like if I go out, there's
Yeah.
a chance I
If
don't go out.
right?
I stay home or I go out. There's basically 2 choices. So
Yeah,
that's when I would use if.
yeah.
Whereas when is
Yeah.
is different
Yeah, when we'll talk about in a second, right?
when
But
we
if-
get to that.
Yeah, so back
Sorry.
back to, no, good, that's a very good example. And the other reason we use if, which you may have seen in class, is if we have an unreal or imaginary situation. Okay, these are we use these in something called conditionals, which you'll learn if you're in a higher level class, right? If you imagine, right, oh, what if I could fly like a bird, right? I am not a bird, I cannot fly, but you're like, what if? Often we'll say, oh, what if I moved to Singapore? What would happen? Right? We're using it for something we're imagining. It's not real for us now. Or
Hypothetical.
the hypothetical, something not true at the moment, right? Or say, if I could fly. If I could fly, I wouldn't need to take the train, the MRT to work, which would be fantastic. But this is another one that's a hypothetical, imaginary. I cannot fly, right? I will never fly, I don't think, right?
Well, you never know.
Yeah. And then last one, another conditional, right? If I had been born in Singapore, I would have learned Chinese, right? All the Chinese no, not all the Chinese students, all the students that I know in Singapore are from Chinese background, or many students from a Western background, they learn Chinese. So again, imaginary, hypothetical. If I had been born in Singapore, I would have learned Chinese. That grammar is more difficult again for our more advanced students. If we switch off to when.
Hypothetical past. We did
Yeah.
do.
Or you want to do a quick about that?
No. They're
Because
just saying
hypothetical
that
past is tricky.
right?
Super
tricky.
Super tricky. So
And we
that's,
don't want to get into that today.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like if I had been.
If
right?
I hadn't come to Singapore, I wouldn't have met Mark. But what I want to say is that we do have, I think, a Facebook video about this.
Oh, about the
We made this several months ago.
hypothetical past?
So you can look through
Yeah.
the archives called the third conditional.
Mm-hmm.
And then Matthew Plant, our teacher, also
Oh.
made a post
A post about.
on our blog about that. So if you want any additional information about the third conditional,
Yeah.
um,
Because I think
Yeah, go there.
do you learn it in upper or inter? Upper?
third conditional you'll see in intermediate.
Intermediate and
closer
upper.
closer to the end of the textbook.
Okay. So again, that last example is tricky, but good job for those of you who think you have the right idea. It takes a long time to learn. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So no, we'll go back to when. Okay, for when. We refer to, I say, when it rains, it pours. That's a American, or not American, just an idiom, which some of you may have seen.
English idiom.
English idiom, right? Which means, right, if one bad thing happens, all the bad things happen. Or would you use when it rains, it pours? For
Yeah, of course.
yeah, like, right? I stub my toe, but then I have a terrible day at work, and then right, I burn dinner, and right. So it's just
When it rains,
when it rains, it pours.
bad luck
yeah.
comes
Yeah, right.
frequently. Yeah,
Right?
when it
'Cause-
rains,
and that-
but I don't believe that.
Yeah, for that, because we're certain that, right, when it rains, it pours, where there's a certainty there. Rains, right, that next thing it pours. There's 100%, we're certain of what will happen, right? Because for this when, we're using it for when we're certain of the future, right? If I did right here, if I say, when my friend visits Singapore, I will take him to to Gardens by the Bay. He's coming next week. I know he will come to Singapore. So I say, when my friend visits, we'll go to Gardens by the Bay. Not if, when. Okay?
Exactly.
Or if I say, when I have time tonight, I'll do my homework. That means you're going to do your homework tonight. I finish work at 5 p.m. I'm going to have time. I'll have time, right? When I have time, I will do my work. Okay? So that's just our simple overview. Oh, okay. Maybe this sounds okay. So for this, right, those are the two things for today. Just pretty simple for most of you, but that if and that when. The if, when we're not sure, like Matt said, and the
50-50.
when we have certainty.
At that time.
Yes.
When that thing happens.
Yeah.
At that time. So
Right?
just same thing. Like I wouldn't say if I go home,
Yeah.
because it's 100% chance I'm going home. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. Unless bad day, you sleep at the office. But
or I fight with someone at home, or I don't want to see
It's
my
like,
kids.
if I go home.
But if I go home,
Yeah.
we don't say that, right? When I go home, because it's certain,
Yeah,
right?
when I'm certain.
Because it's certain. But
Yeah.
when I get home,
Yeah.
I'll have a shower, right? That's a conditional we would use because there's a 100% chance that I would go home. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going to a movie tonight.
Yeah.
If I go to the movie, I will buy some popcorn.
Right.
So, but I'm not certain. I haven't bought the tickets. But if I had bought the tickets, I booked it, everything's 100%, then I would say when I go to the movie, I will buy popcorn. So that's kind of the difference. We can use it in the
Yeah.
same situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have
But
two
one is certain,
sentences,
one is not.
one change, right? Yeah. Right. If I do like, if it snows, I'll have to shovel, right? Right.
Not in Singapore, but
Yeah,
maybe,
well, Singapore.
Your mom
I,
is
I,
gonna watch
I was
this.
just teaching weather today, so yeah. In Pittsburgh, in cold countries like Russia, North America, right? In
Yes.
Canada, right? Maybe you don't know if it will snow, so you say if it snows, I'll shovel. I have to shovel. But if you look up outside, you see the clouds. It's 10 degrees. Not what? How many degrees for snow? For
Well, it's got to be freezing.
freezing. When it freezing?
Well, in my country, in
so
Celsius.
In Fahrenheit, it's 32.
Yeah, 32.
In Celsius, what is it?
0.
It's you
Yeah,
see, they
as
make
long
it
as
so easy.
As long as it's 0.
Celsius is so easy. If it's 0, you look at the temperature, it's 0. The clouds are dark. You say, okay, when it snows, I'll have to shovel, right? For when you have that certainty there. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. So I think our audience today
Was me.
is okay.
We had one person pop in.
Yeah.
And then they ran away.
Yeah.
So, live's
And-
not getting a lot of traction recently.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this not
Yeah.
live and you get to this point, tell us how we can improve because we want to educate
And I think
the masses.
I think on Facebook we can do a poll. I think that's possible.
Uh-huh.
Either through the video or on our Facebook page. Maybe
That's a new thing, I think.
I think it's a new option where we can make a poll and you can help us decide what to focus on next. Do you want vocabulary? Do you want grammar? Do you want practical English? Right? Certain situations that you've run into in Singapore or in daily life. Do you want certain other topics? Right?
Maybe
Holiday
they-
topics. Yeah.
Maybe they want us to go
Yeah.
live at like a restaurant or something and
Yeah, we could. I mean,
order food and
yeah,
talk and
it
chat.
doesn't only have to be in our white room, right? So,
A white room.
whitish room. What is it?
It's white.
Egg white, right?
I don't know.
You
I think it's white. I think it's just
Yeah.
white. Yeah.
Pick
it's
the
dirty.
Pick the correct color. Yeah, it's good.
Anyway.
But that's it. So,
Thanks all.
have a wonderful weekend, everyone. We'll see you in December.
Yeah, December. Wow.
We'll see you in December. Time
Merry
flies.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Whoops. Oh.